So if you've ever been injured before, this video should ring true to you, but I also want to make it a lot easier the next time you get hurt. Hi everyone, Steve Gonzo, physical therapist with Run Smart, where we help runners train smarter, avoid injury, and hit their running goals. And one of the biggest things I see as a physical therapist is a critical error. You're almost healed, and then you go in and you re-injure yourself. It's super frustrating. Real quick before I talk about this, I want to just mention there's a link in this post that takes you to the Run Smart app. What I'm going to talk about is a snippet of our Run Smart protocol, which is get back to injury as quickly as possible after injury and avoiding injury. So I'll show you that in a minute. But here's how it usually plays out for most runners. I see this every day as a physical therapist. Runners will go and they feel like something's coming on, they ignore it for a bit, and then they get to the critical point where they know they're about to be injured. So what they do instead is they hang on for dear life and they actually run themselves out of running. What does that look like? You feel like, oh, my knee's a little sore, my ankle's a little sore, my hip's a little sore. So you start decreasing your mileage, maybe, or your kilometers, whatever your distances, we'll call them. So let's say you're normally running 30 or 40 miles a week or 30 or 40 kilometers. Instead of doing that, you're like, my knee's a little sore, I'm gonna give it a break. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna decrease it by 10 kilometers or miles a week, and that should be enough. When that doesn't work, you start spacing your runs out. You say, okay, instead of running every day this week, I'll run every other day, or every other day. Instead of every other day, I'll run every 3 days, because you need a little bit more rest. And this is the slippery slope that runners go through, is they just pretty much crash themselves into the ground. And this extends itself over the course of maybe a couple weeks, when in reality, if they just handle it right from the get-go, they will be back on the roads very quickly. Most running injuries will heal in 2 weeks if you let them. Unfortunately, most runners don't let them, and they get in a lot of trouble with it. So what you want to do is, I want to cover a specific part of the injury cycle, because I see a lot of errors here. And I'm going to actually, let me just turn my camera around. I want to show you a specific thing. So this is part of the Run Smart protocol. On here it's called How to Avoid Injury Meltdown, but this is part of the Run Smart protocol. This is inside the Run Smart app. We're going to talk about this trial run here. So this goes: recognize you're injured, start cross training, test your readiness to run, perform a trial run, and then rebuild your mileage or your distances. This is what we're going to focus on here. So if you're interested in learning about this full program, we've put a lot of runners back on the road using this program. You can check it out on the Run Smart app. I put a link in this post. So here's what most runners do, is they feel like, I'm going to go out for an easy. I'm used to running. I think this just froze on me. Let's make sure my Wi-Fi is on. This is what happens when you go live. My Wi-Fi is on. That's crazy. All right, so they're used to running like 5 or 6 miles. So they're like, okay, I'm coming back from injury. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to run 3 miles and see how it goes. And usually some people get to the 3 mile mark. Other people, they have like blinders on. They're like, oh my God, it feels good at 3. I'm just going to keep going. And eventually they run into their barriers. But that arbitrary 3 miles seems to be where most runners hover, is they go out and they try an easy 3. And from my standpoint, it's just too much. I see a lot of runners making this mistake, so I want to tell you how much you should run on your first run back. This is assuming you did all the stuff right. Like you've been doing some cross training, you test your readiness to run. But the sweet spot is, and I have no evidence other than treating thousands of runners for the last 10, 11, 12 years now, is that either 5 minutes 2 times with a little walk break, depending on your skill and your running history, or 10 minutes flat, is the secret sauce to know, are you able to run? And the reason why we do this, hi Joanne, the reason why we do either 5 minutes 2 times or we do 10 minutes as a single run for the first run back is because if you have an injury that won't let you know that you're hurt until afterwards, so like you get through the run and then like an hour later you're sore, you don't do a lot of damage with that. A lot of runners will go out and they'll do the 3 miles and they come back and they're like, I've won great, I feel great. And then they blow up later. When you do a 10-minute feeler, we call it a 10-minute feeler. It's kind of creepy, but the 10-minute feeler is really powerful because it allows you to not have a major setback off a short period of run. If that goes well, we go into the rebuild stage, but you can't just go out and try 3 miles. You can't bounce in your living room and say, okay, I think this is ready to run again, and go out. So I think that's really important for you guys. I want you guys to know that. That's why on our Run Smart protocol, or How to Avoid Injury Meltdown, once we get to hear this perform a trial run, this is a 10-minute feeler or 5 by 2 by 5 minute run. And then once it's there, you go into your rebuild, and you, depending on how long you've been off, your rebuild could be a week or 10 days. It could be 2 months if you've been off for a while and your injury is severe enough. But that 10-minute feeler is so important. Make sure you're doing it. Do not go out too crazy. I know it's hard, right? You're like, I have time off, I feel really good, and you want to just get back. But if you want to do it smart, if you want to train smart, if you want to contain or sustain consistency over a long period of time with your running, you need to make smart decisions. And that's what we do here at Run Smart, and we help you with that. So if you want some help, check out the link in the post. Check out the Run Smart app, strength workouts, training plans, the Run Smart protocol sitting there for you. It's everything you need without the coaching fees, monthly coaching fees or gym fees. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon, and have a good night. Hopefully this helped.